Named the topic for today. So Roger named the topic for today, which is you must become your authentic self.
Right.
And this is something we all have to learn how to do it. And we have to unlearn so much that
And
we thought
especially
we
now.
have to learn. So yeah, we're going to start with the message from today on any advice
Yeah,
for
let me,
today.com.
perfect. I want you to read it because it'll make more sense coming from you, but I want to talk about it. Our authentic self is who we are each meant to be. That's every single person. And we get there through our consciousness. No one has more than another. We all have it. We just have different programming that we've come into the world with. We have different DNA, we have different histories, we have all of that. So we have to find that authentic path that is for us, because that's what leads us to, will cause us to have the most success, will cause us to move through any difficulty or challenge. And I know this, but me embracing that was also still a little challenging, because see, what happens is we're never done with that process. We're always becoming something more every time that we live. And so what happened today, and I'm just going to talk about it because I want people to understand, I received precognitive information that I could never explain to anyone. And this is why I tried to hide it for 20 years, because it was just really kind of crazy. Except when I come to find that I have written pretty much everything on mindset. And that's what else is there. That's what every course, every program, every coach, we're talking about mindset. Well, yeah, I wrote it for more than 40 years and then I lived it. And I also proved the results because I'm still alive and I've healed and moved through every kind of trauma. But the part that was challenging is that I don't like to be public. And this is why it's so great when you send me a message to talk. I said, oh, perfect. Now I can talk because I have a little more freedom. When I did the workshop on Friday, we didn't put all of this in there, but I wanted to explain the personality type of an intuitive introvert, or introverted intuitive, however you think of it, because I can see and feel everything that's going on in any single person. I know what's happening. But to tell them that or to move through it was always a bit challenging. So when I got up this morning to do my message, as I do, and I know that I'm very well guided and I'm told where to go and look for a message. They take me back to messages that came up a long time ago, or this one was 10 years ago. The reason for that is for us to understand that we don't understand or accept everything right away. We just don't. That's just neuroscience. That's just how the brain works. However, I receive things, and the way that it worked for me is they said, when you go back to a specific date, it will resonate for you on that date. Now you can read the one that came up this morning, and this will show exactly what I'm talking about. And it is for every single person to understand that they have to resolve this irony that exists within all of us. We have conflicts and contradictions. We're told that we are given everything. We're told that we are, children of God, or we have all of these things. But then we say, no, that's not us. Why do we do that? It's a
Because they
process of
don't tell us how we are, like what
exactly.
we can do with being that, or no one tells us how it feels to be a
Yes.
child of God or the universe and all of that. Like what I want to add to the intuitive introvert part that you've just mentioned is also with the, like, they are mostly, I'd say, super like having lots of empathy, right? Like an intuitive empath is a term that I've heard before. Now you come with intuitive introvert, which is like it all, right? We talked before we went live that everything is somehow anyway intertwined and placed together about what we're going to talk about. As I scheduled this call to have a conversation with Roger, not to go live, but now we can talk about it also here
I
in
had to, yes.
some parts, because it is everything related to each other anyway. And yeah, your authentic self is who you are to the core of your being, right?
Right.
And like in terms of the intuition, what I always say is, like, your intuition is God talking to you. Like your intuition is the voice within you that knows, right? It is about to learn to trust that voice. and yeah, to know, to become familiar with that voice, so that you can make decisions more easily. Also, it may sometimes feels a little bit uncomfortable, but yeah, sometimes we have to stretch ourselves. That's for sure. Alrighty, sir. So you want me to read now, or do you want to add anything?
Yeah, no, do the message and then I'll talk more, because I want everyone to understand what's happening within them at this time and what's happening in our world also.
Yeah, big time. So as you can see, it is just well said again, right? Like, now you will confront your biggest irony. September 25th, 2023. Now you will confront your biggest irony. We have said you were moving through a massive restructuring, and how you aid your evolution and the planetary ascension is by becoming your authentic self. We provided a message 10 years ago on this day that will resonate with you today. It is the reason for all our work and is more critical for you and the world now. Same day, 2020, 2013. So today, just 10 years ago. The biggest irony you discover during your physical life experience is that the key to the expansion you seek is being you, and the fear you hold is being you. Your awareness of this irony also allows you to resolve it. You will notice that you decide to wait whenever you hesitated, or whenever you hesitate to do something you know you desire to do, which will further that expansion. That very waiting period is when you have allowed your life to be controlled by that fear. Now, you will also understand that the fear is not because of who you are, but what you think others will think of you. When you study this entire concept, you will find it difficult to see any exceptions to this. Wilhelm. Yeah. On point.
When I came through in 2013,
So good.
I couldn't have explained that. I couldn't have told anyone, and I couldn't have told you that it was going to come up today, but it did. We have to suspend our disbelief about everything that's happening in our world, everything that's happening within our lives, because we are these spiritual beings that are always evolving, and we do that individually and collectively, and our world is doing that as well. And so the part for me that I couldn't accept, because I feared the judgment of others, they're not going to understand this. This is why it's hid it for 20 years. Why would I hide something for so long that I knew had transformed and healed my life? It's because of that. I fear of what I could do and what I might give to others, and that we can no longer do, because otherwise we don't live the lives we're supposed to have, and the world doesn't change. We are all equally creating our world. We can look at everything that's going on and think, oh, these other people are doing it. No, it's us. And when we decide to own our authentic selves and give ourselves permission to be fully who we are, then everything changes. I was on, I'm just going to throw this in. People may have seen it. I didn't even know why this was coming up. But Kerry Washington, she's an actress here, and a lot of people will know her for. She was doing this special last night talking about a book that she wrote. And she had to reveal all of these things. And one of the things that she revealed, that she just found out after 40 years, that her father isn't her biological father. Their parents never told her this. And so she had to do this huge adjustment. We're all doing that. We don't know who we are. It comes up at times. And she said, well, now it feels they've resolved all of this over the years after it came out. And now it feels that they're free. When you can embrace who you are authentically, then you live the life you're meant to have. It was really kind of powerful to see that as well. But this is what we're all doing, especially now. I'm going to talk about one other thing, because people didn't understand. When I changed 7 years ago, well, before I knew you, I started shifting because I knew where things would be moving in the world. And I said to a lot of people, they couldn't hear me. I said, oh, I've changed because I want to give you the thing that's going to be the most important for you. And that is your mindset. How do I own who I am? How do I become confident? How do I feel secure enough to get that promotion that I know I deserve? How do I do all of those things? Well, I've written it all. And I would tell people something else. This is a fun thing to do. You can go to my website, Any Advice for Today, and search for a word that you want to find out something about. Let's say that it's doubt or fear or anger, whatever it is. And you'll find that a string of messages will come up. And if you read them, you'll see your brain change. As you read those messages, you'll see, oh, a good one to do would be, yeah, it is. Search for blame, search for fear, search for any one word, and see all of the messages that come up that will cause you to think differently about who you are. And I had, and it was crazy when I was telling people that I created this unique thing because it's new, it could have never been done. And this is what a lot of people have said. This is so different than anything I've ever done. And this is why I changed the name a long time ago to Your Last Development Program. But I also want to tell you this, because everyone doubts themselves. I'm talking about this for a lot of entrepreneurs and people who are doing businesses and all of that, because in 2021, when I knew what was happening and what I had created, I still had this doubt. I said, oh no, but I had to force myself to put it out there. So I put a bunch of people in the program. And then at the end of it, we just pulled out these statements from a group coaching call that we were doing. But I want people to hear it. It's like 2.5 minutes. I'm going to play it because I want people to hear it. And but it was something, again, that I didn't even share that much. I didn't put it out there. You have to understand. Okay, I'm sorry, I've got to put this in there. We do self-sabotage a lot, all of us do. We hold ourselves back and we do self-sabotage. The one that I did was when I knew how valuable this was, and I saw people charging $25,000 for the work that I could do with them that could transform their lives, I didn't change. And I talked about it quite a bit. So this is not new to a lot of people who might hear this. And because part of me says, I can't handle everyone. I don't want to work with everyone. It's how much can I charge someone to be able to give them the information that would transform their lives? What amount is that? Even though I could see what people were doing. But now it's a different time in our world, and I will charge what I know it's worth because I want to work with people who are going to make a difference, not only in their lives, because that's what this is about, but in our world. So let you, I don't know if you've even heard this before, but I will, yeah, I'm going to share this. I want people to hear it. Oops.
Yeah, you have the allowance.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sharing is important. Like really awesome.
I find this work is very powerful. They change a lot very quickly. It's like quite surprising how things are changing for me.
I want to say how grateful I am that you've done this. And the time that you've put through on this is just amazing. And as we get older and we put through something like this into the world, you don't know the benefits of it until years later.
I just want to thank you for the program. Probably a year or two ago, if there was a tough decision to make, especially about money or anything like that, I would let fear and worry guide me away from a decision that might have helped me grow.
I have moved. I have made some positive changes. Hey, good, bad, or ugly, you did it. That's the main thing.
When you say the time is now, and I always appreciate it, because now more than ever, I feel a little bit more satisfied with myself because especially lately, I keep leaving a project not finished.
I love the program. I love the questions, but I think that being aware of everything that's inside of you and bringing it out onto paper, it really does make you step forward in that area.
The way the questions penetrate into your memory and into your past experiences is so unique. Yeah, it really goes deep very, very quickly. I mean, I'm only on day 3, but the way like the questions are presented and the things you read before and the whole steps you go through, probably a lot of people's experiences, but it goes really deep, really, really quickly.
I mean, every day has its difficulties, but like it's better than it was. You know, I mean, I'm doing more things that I enjoy, and like I find that I personally feel like I'm meant to do my book and everything, and then with the acting, I'm working on all that.
I've been taking so much courses, like especially with this pandemic, I approach different from Tony Robbins, from Bob Proctor, from Jack Canfield, and also I've been following Abraham Hicks, but never really brought me the result that I wanted to do it. So I'm very, I mean, this course is very more, I found that I think it's a bit faster.
Roger, I just wanted to say thank you again, because a few years ago I realised that voice coaching wasn't the only thing that I could do, and that I had something else. But I didn't know what it was. I had no idea what it was.
And I didn't really share it that much. I didn't put it out there. And that was from December of 2021. That's when that was done. And the thing that the one guy said, that he'd done all these other courses and they didn't bring him the results, and this was faster. And that's what I knew. And that's what I had to talk about. And I'm going to talk about it now because, see, the reason I did this, and I just want everybody to understand, the reason our world is changing, we're moving through an energetic change and it looks really chaotic, but that is because of each of us. We have to decide that, oh, I'm worth something. I matter. And if I vibrate at a higher level within myself, then I can make a contribution to the world, and then our world becomes better. It's real simple science. That's what goes on. But it has to become this willingness for us to move inside and figure out who we are. This is why I said it's important to become your authentic self, because I know every single human born has gifts and talents and abilities within them that could cause them to manufacture, live this extraordinary life if they can get to that. And sometimes it takes a while. Yes, it took me many, many years, but I know that's why my life was meant to bring in this work to give to others. Everybody has something, and mine was to help this transition in our world, and that's what we're doing now. And so I'm happy that you're a part of that. You could help me, because I couldn't do any of these things without you or Stan, because I would still be hiding out and being by myself, being the hermit, because that was easier. Yeah, let me just make all the money and change and just do this for myself. There's more to this. I need to do more with the world. So that's what we're doing. And this is also why I'm doing the channeling session on Friday, why I'm doing all these things, because I just need to bring in more awareness. We need a lot more love and light in the world, because we've just forgotten a bit of our humanity. That's why things look the way they do.
Yeah, we do. And to see the surrounding changing when you change is awesome, right? Like for me, my grandma, she's changing for me, being love and light, and she talks with me about things she never talked with anyone about it before, right? So it's something that's very beautiful and really to contemplate about, because like someone who's lived their whole lives, their entire lives in a certain way, and was hiding or was not speaking about it, like it takes something to open up, right? And to be that something, or like that someone who helps someone else to open up and to really speak their truth, right? And to tap into their hearts is very rewarding. And yeah, it's a pleasure to see that change.
And I want to say something else too, because there will be other people who will hear this, especially people who are in the service position, who love giving things, who are empath, who are intuitive, so all of that. And what happens is we become a bit afraid. We give because we can give so much. And that's what I've done. I've done it my entire life. And this is why I didn't want, and I told people, don't come in. I know what people can accomplish. When I can look at everything that I've healed in my life, that I didn't talk about all of it in the workshop. One point I will, but because I do that because I want people to know what is possible. They can do anything. It's all in your mindset. And there are ways, if you are consistent, if you can access that part of you that is supposed to be here, because we all have that. There's no human born without it. but it's like being willing to move through the limitations and the barriers that are always programmed in. And so now, and this time in our world is the best time to move through that.
It's fascinating that, like, sometimes it really takes other people for us to see our own value, or to point with a finger on us, and then we realize the value that is within us. It's just how it works many times. But that you really develop that program, and I mean, it's like, I mean, you really need to have something with foundation if you call it your last development program, right? Like, I think people just should at least contemplate about it, like, why the heck is it your last development program? Because it's supposed to be the last one, because it really helps you to make connections that you haven't made before in a very easy and comfortable way, I think, right? I mean, you name it. If you go to the website, any advice for today.com, like, the information that is there, it just resonates, and it's truth, right, for everyone. It can be true for everyone, and people can really take something to move to the next level, to embody their authentic self, right, their true self. Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Everybody will probably remember that they saw or they felt something changing within the world or within them in 2020. We can all talk about that, and we feel, and most people thought it was about the pandemic, because we all knew that we started understanding that's what was going on. But I also knew that it was so much more than that, and that it was going to be a major change, not only in,
like, the pandemic just moved.
Yes. And so there was a message that came through on this date in 2020 that I didn't share, which is kind of funny, because it's talking about exactly what's happening right now, exactly what's happening on this date. And it came through 2020, and just in my life, because Stan is finishing. I said, please finish the replay of the workshop so we can get it out to people, because I want them to understand that workshop. I just wanted people to understand the science of what's happening in the world, or what's happening within them. So that's what is in there. But when I look at the message that came on this date 3 years ago, it's kind of funny because it mentions Stan. Never, that kind of stuff doesn't always happen, but his name is in the title. I just got to share this. I'm just going to, I just have to. I just have to. Okay, because also, I'm going to say this too, because a lot of people are going to start experiencing this, because as we're moving through this big change in our world, you're going to find yourself disagreeing with a whole bunch of people. That's what's going to come up, even people in your family, because it's not about your blood relatives. It's not about any of that. It's about who you are as an individual. And so this one, this was so funny. A message, you will succeed together, and a message to Stan. And succeed together means the world, meaning all of us doing something that brings something together. And we love this message so much, as will you, when we tie it all together. Yesterday, we gave you a message regarding your family. Well, actually, we use Roger's family, for they serve as a perfect manifestation of what your world is experiencing now. We are giving Roger a lot of information, so be patient. In yesterday's message, we mentioned Roger's family would have a Zoom call preceded by the apprehension of any impending conflict. That is what is happening in your world now, and the United States specifically. You each typically require a bit of conflict before you are ready to own yourself and your place in the world. The call went beautifully and better than any of them expected. And unbeknownst to most of them at this time, they were each actualized empowerment. They each actualize empowerment within themselves. It did go well due to Roger's older brother, who decided to take a leadership position. Your world needs this now. But again, it must be actualized in each of you first before it manifests in the world. During the call, Roger began to speak of Stan and decided to share Stan and his father's photo with the rest of Roger's family. They all looked at the picture and thought it was Roger. Even his 83-year-old aunt attempted to figure out what time that picture might have been. We are mysterious because it's so much fun. Sorry. This morning we gave Roger the most excellent definition of coincidence, and each of you will discover it as your world is doing now. A coincidence is a previously planned event awaiting your recognition and utilization. Do you love that? Roger had his recognition by seeing that photo. When Roger coincidentally found Stan online one day, Roger intuitively knew this was a direction for both of them. We have described how every relationship shows up in your life, and no matter how it feels to you, even the horrible ones, they are there to aid you in your quest for empowerment. Roger and Stan have a webinar plan. Stan is currently sitting at a place of concern where Roger has lived many times. And what Roger knows is that this will allow Stan to evolve and Roger. They will surmount this challenge together, which is what your world is doing now. You see, it comes down to you becoming willing to succeed together, individually and collectively. And Roger's family was a beautiful demonstration of that yesterday. A caveat: Roger's 92-year-old aunt attended the meeting and provided them with a proud family history none of them had known. Each of you has a proud family history that you are actualizing in your life now due to the pandemic. We so love using that. And please know you will succeed just as you have for eons. And the result, as we have said, is you evolve. We did mean that collectively, for there is no difference between you and them. We know this is long, but it will be worth it. And yes, Roger, send it to your family. Sorry, one more thing for Stan. You did not make a mistake. None of you have. I had to read that.
Yeah, so good. So good.
So we are all here to become something wonderful. And I'm going to, the people that I'm working with and we're working with, which is so beautiful, that's what we're bringing to the world. That's how we're going to help uplift this energy and the consciousness and create something better, because we all have that ability.
Exactly. And this is really it, right? And we are helping each other with that.
Yes.
Right. Not just came up with an idea today to help people that are near to me, or people where I know that they are really willing to, or that I know I can help, and they know that I can help, right? If there's like this equal knowing of it, to help them really tapping into their intuitive power, right? Through the chakra work that I'm doing and those meditations and the stuff that I channel through every day, all day. So yeah, it's just for us to acknowledge our power, and then we are capable of sharing. Please, I see you burn inside. You want to share something.
I'm going to talk about abundance, because we're all supposed to have it now. And it's about the energy. When I talk about abundance, it's about the energy. The energy of us connecting to our authentic selves allows that abundance to show up, because now we're not blocking it. We're not blocking what we were meant to have. That is going on in our world. This is why you're seeing all the strikes, one that just got settled, we believe, but there's still more going on. Why people are starving, all of that. There's no lack of money or resources anywhere in the world, nowhere, except we have not allowed ourselves to use it and to share it and become a collective consciousness of people who decide to take care of one another. That's all.
Exactly. And this is really the big call that I have had. And it's so beautiful, right? Like, just to give another example of synchronicity that I've experienced 2 days ago. I watched a video that we should communicate with our grandparents more about death, right? Or that the process of dying should be a more common thing to talk about in our society. And really the day after I made the decision, after I watched this video, to communicate with my grandparents about death, like my grandma started talking with me about it. It's just so cool. Like, you make that decision and something just connects. Today I had another thought, right, about something that's going on here in the neighborhood. And like something that I've just started to realize on a deeper level. And my grandma today in the evening, she started talking about it too. Like there's this interconnectedness between all of us that we are now coming to acknowledge. And when we are willing to own our authentic self with our gifts and abilities, right, and sharing them genuinely with the world, then we are getting back from the world what we actually really, really need. And then we're capable of providing even more help for people. And it's a beautiful, beautiful life that we're living. Yeah.
Thank you so much for this, because I got up this morning, I said, I gotta talk about this, but I wasn't gonna do it on my own because I got so much other stuff. So this
Bro.
conversation was perfect. Thank you.
And I'm like, and you moved me now to do this because I said, oh, Jana, you haven't recorded the podcast episode 4, right? Because I was so, I don't know, like I was self-sabotaging so much in the last weeks with
That's
all
that's
of
what we yes.
all sorts of things, right? And I'm like, wow, Jana, you really less about others and more about yourself, and then you really give others
Perfect.
what's needed.
I'm glad
So,
you
yeah.
said that again, self-sabotage, because I want everyone to understand the only self-sabotage that we do is when we don't become our authentic selves. That's all. And it's a process. So no judgment. We just got to understand it's a process, and we got to just become willing to move through it.
Exactly. Like not punishing ourselves just because we're human, right? Like this is
just because we're
insane.
human.
Exactly. It's like how many of us, like, we're growing up and we learn to, oh yeah, we punish ourselves. We make something wrong, then we punish ourselves, and then we're good. Bullshit. You just have to learn and to forgive yourself, like, and then you move on. Yeah, beautiful conversation, Rog.
Thank you so much. This is great. I think
yeah.
people will get a lot out of this. So this is good.
I think so too. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Check us out on YouTube, right? Richard Burnley. Go on his website. And yeah, you will find me on Facebook, I think, where we place it. And the Healing Magician Jana on YouTube. All the love.
Great.
Peace.
Thank you.